NASA says it just found a new planet.
Shocking, right? Yeah, the James Webb Telescope spotted it just outside of our solar system. Fox 35's Esther Bauer explains how this discovery could help us learn more about Earth.
The James Webb Space Telescope, our most powerful eye in deep space, just spotted something crazy. This ain't your average distant star or galaxy flickering in the dark. Nah, this thing got scientists losing sleep. While scanning the quiet depths near the Sculptor group of galaxies, a region normally used just to test instruments because it's so chill, Webb locked onto something that makes no sense at all. Hidden inside the usual infrared clutter, researchers found a strange shadow. But not just any shadow. This one had a glowing ring around it, a corona that twisted light in ways we've never seen before. It didn't just sit there looking mysterious. It straight up warped the space around it like something tore a hole through reality itself.
What you're looking at is a brand new planet we didn't know was out there until now.
News like this always gets people looking up and thinking.
Here's the wildest part. It wasn't acting like a black hole. No X-rays, no gravitational pull bending stars, no lensing effects. None of that. Instead of pulling light in, it looked like it was pushing it away, spinning the light out in weird spirals that had Webb's detectors freaking out. The distortion didn't match anything in known physics. Some researchers even started comparing it to those wild theories, like cosmic strings or space-time rips. Yeah, it's that serious. But wait, it gets even more unreal. This thing ain't no planet, star, or comet. It's huge, bigger than anything nature's ever thrown at us before, at least that we've seen. Whatever this is, it might be something entirely new, or not from here at all. At first, scientists thought it was just some distant galaxy, but that theory crashed fast. Galaxies, no matter how weird or far away, still got their trademarks: spiral arms, central bulges, star clusters, or some kind of energy emissions. But this thing? None of that. Instead, it looked shapeless, yet strangely organized. Imagine a giant web or lattice folding in on itself like it's alive, moving like it's being powered by something not from this universe.
We are not alone. How could we be?
Can this planet we just discovered, could it sustain life?
Well, what kind of life is it? That's the other question.
Thanks to Webb's next-level instruments, the near-infrared camera, NIRCam, and mid-infrared instrument, MIRI, scientists got crystal-clear data like never before. They captured time-lapse footage that showed the object shifting, its shape, its brightness, all changing like it was breathing or pulsing with some force from within. But here's the kicker. Even with all that movement, it didn't go anywhere. It stayed locked in one spot, like it had been planted there on purpose. That detail shook the entire research team. Soon, mathematicians and theoretical physicists jumped in, trying to make sense of this madness. The usual rules of space just weren't enough, so they started looking into wild theories, extra dimensions, quantum gravity glitches, even the idea of space itself being torn open. What started as sci-fi chatter suddenly became a legit theory. This could be a rift, a tear between dimensions. Even crazier, the object was sending out pulses, steady, rhythmic ones. But it wasn't light, it wasn't radio waves, it wasn't even like what we get from pulsars or magnetars. It was something new, something nobody could recognize yet, but it was definitely trying to be noticed. But this thing didn't just send out weird signals. It bent space-time itself. Webb's gyroscopes and sensors started picking up tiny shifts. Tiny, but perfectly synced with those mysterious pulses. It was like the telescope was getting tapped, not by physical force, but by something messing with the fabric of reality. These little nudges weren't random. They were too precise. Something about this object was literally reshaping the geometry of space around it. And that's when stuff got real. Astrobiologists, who usually stay in the background during space anomalies, suddenly took center stage. Why? Because this didn't just look like a cosmic glitch. It felt like a system. The pulse patterns, the regular timing, the space-time distortion, it all hinted at design, not chaos. Some researchers even started whispering the unthinkable. This could be a construct, not a freak of nature, but a machine. That's when the term megastructure started getting thrown around. Yeah, like a Dyson sphere. But this thing wasn't feeding off a star. It was manipulating the rules of reality itself, bending space-time like it was playing with clay. We're talking beyond just energy. This thing was geometry in motion. And if it was built, then it wasn't just advanced, it was next-level alien genius. The pulse rhythms weren't random either. They followed prime number sequences, recursive loops, the kind of math you'd expect from intelligence. But there was no message, no language, no code. Just that steady heartbeat, thumping through the void like a presence that's always been there and was never meant to be found. If this thing is real and artificial, then we're not just talking about life beyond Earth. We're talking about something smarter, way beyond us. A species that cracked the laws of physics like a cheat code and left behind a monument to prove it. Whoever, or whatever, made this thing could be millions, maybe even billions of years ahead of us. But let's say for a second this object is natural. Even then, it completely wrecks what we thought we knew about the universe. Some scientists are saying it might be a leftover from the very beginning, from the chaotic seconds after the Big Bang, during those wild inflationary phases or quantum gravity twists from the Planck era. Stuff we've never seen before, not even once. But here's where it flips into straight sci-fi. Only this ain't fiction. Some physicists are now suggesting it may not be from our universe at all. Yeah, you heard that right. It could be a bridge, a connection point between multiverses. One theory says this thing might be poking into our space from a higher dimension, like a shadow from a 4D object showing up in our 3D world. That weird pulsing and shifting mass? It might be the object trying to hold itself together in our universe, like it's struggling to stay stable here. But here's the most chilling part. This thing might not be just sitting there. Scientists noticed that the pulses have been changing. Over the last few weeks, they've gotten stronger, more complex. It's like the object is escalating, either trying to adapt or maybe trying to say something. If it's intelligent or even semi-aware, it might know we're watching now. And then comes the kicker. This thing might have been around for decades. Deep dives into old telescope data revealed faint signs of the same anomaly, just too weak and blurry to notice before. Only with Webb's advanced tech did it finally come into focus. So now we have to ask, has it been watching us this whole time? Lurking in the shadows, waiting for us to see it? Or did it just show up on purpose? And if it did, why now? Some researchers are now pushing wild, but serious theories. One of them? This object might actually be a stabilizer, a pin in the fabric of space-time, holding everything together like a nail in the wall of the universe. And if that's true, then just detecting it, poking at it, could trigger consequences way beyond curiosity. We're talking universal-level chaos. Another theory? This could be an interdimensional observer, a kind of cosmic watchdog, sitting silently out there, designed to monitor civilizations like ours once we hit a certain tech level. Basically, when your telescope gets strong enough to see it, it starts paying attention. Creepy, right? But wait, it gets even darker. Some physicists are pulling in end-of-universe concepts. Yeah, like full-on reset the cosmos talk. They say this thing might be the first sign of a phase shift, a fundamental change in the rules of reality itself. Imagine gravity, time, or light starting to act different. Permanently. Now here's the scariest idea so far. This might not be a message, a probe, or a portal. It might be a prison. The object's eerie symmetry, its locked position, the way it bends space without mass, all of it could mean one thing. It's containing something, not giving off signals, but sealing something in, a rupture in the vacuum, or worse, a powerful entity tied down by space-time itself. Some now believe Webb didn't just find a window into the unknown, it may have found the lid on something we were never supposed to open. No one's reached a solid answer. Every top observatory has started turning their gaze toward this anomaly. Gravitational wave detectors are scrambling to find matching ripple signatures. New papers are flying in, theories being pushed, torn apart, reworked. But the deeper the data gets, the weirder this thing becomes. This isn't one of those mysteries that fade with more info. It's the opposite. The more we learn, the more we realize we don't understand. And now, even government agencies that never cared about space, they're watching this closely, out of nowhere. Defense agencies, space security forces, and strategic intel units are all paying attention now. Even though this thing sits millions of light years away, it's messing with the whole concept of cosmic safety. If something like that can exist, bending nature's laws like it's child's play, then what else is hiding out there in the shadows of the universe? Meanwhile, Webb hasn't stopped watching. It's locked in, pulling terabytes of data every single day, tracking every pulse, every glitch in wavelength, every microscopic change. And even though the object hasn't spoken, no signals, no sudden movements, its presence is screaming loud. It's basically announcing that the universe is way older, deeper, and more bizarre than anything we ever imagined. But what if this is just the start? Webb was built to look back in time, to catch the first spark of the early universe. But maybe, just maybe, it didn't find the beginning. Maybe it found a limit, not the edge of time, but the edge of what we can even understand. Whatever this is, a relic, an alien construct, some unknown cosmic event, it's already changing everything. We're no longer asking if the universe has secrets beyond our reach. Now we're asking, are we ready to face them? This anomaly isn't just shaking up astrophysics. It's got every major scientific field scrambling. Old models can't handle it, so now even the wildest theories, stuff from the fringe like quantum topology, higher dimensional math, and hardcore information theory, are being dragged into the conversation. Because regular science, it's not cutting it. What's even crazier? Early spectral analysis shows this thing is holding an insane level of energy stability. Nothing in space that massive is usually this calm. Neutron stars, they rage, black holes, pure chaos. Even big interstellar clouds show turbulence. But this thing, silent, still, locked in, like it's been built that way. Or it's waiting for something. Webb didn't catch any energy surges. No slow fade-outs either. Instead, what it found was even weirder. Perfect consistency. This thing's energy output stayed rock solid. No decay, no interference. It didn't even blink under cosmic radiation, galactic gravity shifts, or background noise. That kind of stability, it's unnatural. So now, some physicists are tossing around a mind-bending theory. What if this thing is insulated from time? Yeah, time. As in, it doesn't age, change, or evolve the way we understand reality. In quantum physics, there's a rare idea that under bizarre conditions, certain objects can slip out of linear time. That means this object could either be infinitely ancient, or it just popped into our universe from a place where time moves completely differently. And if that's true, then we're not just talking about astronomy anymore. We're talking about rewriting the way we understand causality, history, and how the universe even functions. Because if cause and effect can break down, then everything, from galaxies to atoms to us, might not be as locked in as we thought. But the strangeness doesn't stop. Scientists looked at how light interacts with it, and guess what? It doesn't. There's no diffraction, no scattering, not even heat. The light just disappears, like it's falling into a blank void, a place where physics just stops. That's led some to say this object might be an energy sink, or even a spatial terminus. A dead end in space where reality itself runs out of rules. Others are calling it something new, a quantum event horizon, not caused by mass like a black hole, but by whatever boundary this object creates. A boundary not of gravity, but of existence. Whatever this thing is, it's not just a mystery. It's a challenge, a warning, a key, and maybe a mirror showing how little we really know. So what do you think this object could be? Alien tech, a glitch in space-time, or something even deeper? Now here's where it gets completely insane. Some researchers believe this thing might be a fixed point in space-time, not just floating through the cosmos, but literally anchored in the fabric of reality itself. In advanced physics, there's long been talk about these theoretical points, immune to entropy, gravity, even the passage of time. If real, these points could be the scaffolding that helped the entire universe expand. And if this anomaly is one of them, then we may be staring at a leftover fragment from the birth of the cosmos, a piece of the original code that built everything. But that's not even the craziest theory on the table. Some of the freshest computational models, based on how this thing interacts with light, matter, and energy, suggest it might not be made of baryonic matter, not even dark matter. Instead, it could be something way more exotic, a computational substrate. Yeah, like a processor, not just an object, but a machine. Those eerie pulses we've been tracking, they might not be signals at all. They could be data operations, calculations rippling across the quantum foam, a massive cosmic algorithm running in real time. Self-replicating, maybe even self-aware, like a computer system stitched into the backbone of the universe. Now, the idea that reality is built on code, like a simulation or a computational structure, isn't new. But this object, it might be our first real proof, the first actual artifact that gives weight to that theory. And that leads to one seriously mind-blowing question. If it's a processor, who or what is it computing for? Is it part of a galaxy-sized network? A piece of some ancient intelligence spread across the universe? Or maybe it's working alone? An autonomous relic from a civilization that vanished eons ago, a final act of brilliance, left behind to keep running forever. Whatever the truth is, this thing isn't just challenging science, it's forcing us to rethink what the universe even is. Behind the scenes, aerospace engineers and top-tier data scientists have been pulled into this mystery, working around the clock, using the best tech on Earth to figure this thing out. They've thrown quantum computers, AI neural networks, even petaflops of raw power at it. But every simulation ends in failure. Within milliseconds, the models either spiral into total chaos or just freeze into dead stillness. They can't replicate it, because this object isn't playing by our rules. It's running on a system that doesn't match anything humans have ever seen or built. But here's the part that's really giving scientists chills. It's not just strange, it's perfect. Every single part of this thing is dialed in, from how it absorbs energy, to its exact shape in space, to the way it pulses. There's no randomness, no waste, no rough edges. It's operating at a level of precision that's too clean to be natural. Some experts are even calling it the perfect object, not out of admiration, but out of fear. Because in nature, perfection is a red flag. Evolution doesn't aim for flawless design. It builds messy, redundant systems that can adapt and survive. But this is surgical, intentional. It either came from a mind beyond ours, or it was born in a universe that doesn't follow the same playbook. And the location? That's another stunner. It's not near any black holes, no busy star clusters, no gamma-ray chaos. It's parked in what one astrophysicist described as the quietest room in the universe. That level of isolation? Statistically impossible. You don't just end up there by accident. That silence feels chosen. So now the question gets deeper. Was it placed there for us to find, or placed there hoping we never would? The more scientists analyze it, the more it feels like this thing was intentionally placed, like it was hidden on purpose, tucked away to avoid detection, shielded from cosmic noise, or maybe just isolated from the flow of the universe itself. And that unsettling precision has pushed the conversation into a whole new territory: surveillance. Some experts now think this might not be a beacon, but a receiver. A deep space observer set up in the quietest zone imaginable, where interference is practically non-existent. From that perfect perch, it could monitor everything: galactic shifts, radiation flows, maybe even intelligent life, like us. And if it's been active for millions, maybe billions of years, it might be carrying a cosmic record far beyond anything humanity's ever collected. But here's the eerie twist. What if it's not just watching? What if it's judging? A growing number of philosophers and scientists are now toying with a darker theory, that this could be a cosmic arbiter, a device set up to track when a civilization hits a certain level, intelligence, tech power, energy output, and triggers a response. If that's the case, then Webb might have just flipped a switch we didn't even know existed. And from here, the implications get deep. Thinkers from outside the science world, theologians, historians, cultural theorists, are now weighing in. The idea that we've uncovered a kind of watcher isn't just sci-fi anymore. Cultures across history have spoken about unseen forces, sky watchers, divine monitors, ancient beings who silently observe until the right moment. What if they weren't just stories? Now, with Webb staring directly at something we can't explain, those forgotten legends are being pulled back into the light. Maybe what we thought were myths were echoes of a truth we weren't ready to face. So what now? Was this object always watching? Are we being tested or chosen? Is this the beginning of contact or the start of judgment? And just when you think it can't get stranger, it does. This thing, as massive and complex as it is silent. No radio waves, no X-rays, no gamma bursts, nothing. For something that energetic and structured, that kind of silence is shocking. In space, silence usually means one of two things. Something's either dead or it's hiding. And this object, it's clearly neither. Which brings us to the next disturbing question. What else might be hidden? If this thing stayed invisible for decades, ducking every major telescope until Webb came online, then it's very possible there are others. Maybe a whole network, maybe some even closer. The Webb telescope, for all its power, is still just beginning to peel back the veil of the infrared universe. So what if this discovery wasn't a one-time glitch, but the first crack in the curtain? A curtain that's now about to fall. And behind it, a cosmos we won't even recognize anymore. One of the wildest, but now seriously considered, theories is the idea of a metaweb, a hidden infrastructure threaded through space itself. A system of these objects, all connected, communicating through non-local quantum mechanics or gravitational tech we don't even understand yet. Think about that. Not a physical empire, but an informational one. A cosmic network that spans billions of light years and acts in real time. That would mean we're already living inside a universe that's monitored, mapped, and maybe even managed. Teams around the world are now racing to scan nearby regions of space, looking for similar distortions, similar pulse patterns. So far, no perfect matches, but whispers have started, faint echoes, odd subharmonic pulses, bizarre infrared flickers in two other sectors. So ask yourself this: was this just the first piece of the puzzle, or the beginning of something so much bigger? Because if we just uncovered a cosmic surveillance grid, then we're not just observers of the universe anymore. We've become the observed. Right now, scientists aren't sure if the other strange signals are directly tied to the main anomaly, but the similarities are too loud to ignore. They show the same strange traits: irregular gravitational patterns, energy profiles that don't fade, and pulse rhythms that break every known rule of astrophysics. If this really is part of a wider pattern, then the object Webb uncovered might be a keystone, either the central node in a hidden network or just one piece in a galaxy-spanning system built with purpose. And if that's true, then everything changes. That would mean the universe isn't just wild and random. It's organized, structured, packed with information, maybe even intelligence, woven into the very background of reality. Behind the scenes, policymakers and space agencies are watching closely. No one's calling it a threat, not yet. But the unknown is powerful, and it's made some folks nervous. Plans for future deep space missions and long-range signals are already being reconsidered. Because let's be real, if this object can perceive or respond in ways we don't understand, then poking it without knowing what we're dealing with? That could be reckless. Still, the hunt goes on. Humanity has to look. It's who we are. Webb's team has locked in for the long haul. Instruments are being fine-tuned. New protocols are in play, not just to study the anomaly itself, but the space around it. They're checking for ripple effects, micro-lensing distortions, even shifts in the cosmic microwave background that might point to its deeper footprint in the universe. And behind all the tech and equations lies something simple, something deeply human. For thousands of years, we've stared at the night sky and imagined gods, monsters, and distant beings. We made up stories to fill the gaps we couldn't explain. Now, we're staring at something that might be the thing behind those stories. We finally found something out there, and science still doesn't know what it is. The James Webb Space Telescope was supposed to bring us answers, to help explain how everything began, but instead, it's given us something way deeper, not a look at the start of the universe, but a glimpse at what it might be becoming. Or maybe what it's always been, quietly waiting to be noticed by a species just barely waking up to the real scale of reality. And in that discovery, there's wonder and dread. Not because this object is hostile. There's no proof it even knows we exist, but because its presence alone shows us something terrifyingly clear. We barely understand anything. Our version of reality is unfinished. Our universe isn't silent, and out there, deep in the black, something impossible is watching. Or maybe waiting. As Webb's team continues digging through the data, the questions just get stranger. This isn't just shaking up astrophysics. It's challenging the core of how we define existence itself. One of the newest and most bizarre findings? This object might not even be fully physical. Not in the way we understand matter. We're not just dealing with weird particles or undiscovered elements. We're dealing with something that might not be made of stuff at all. Early models suggest the structure behaves like it's made of metamaterial, existing partly in our space, and partly somewhere else, somewhere outside normal space entirely. It doesn't fit into our XYZ coordinates. It bends around them, maybe through them. It could be semi-instantiated, halfway between being real and not. Imagine this. What we're seeing through Webb might be just a slice, a thin cross-section of something way bigger, something so complex, so fundamentally alien, that it doesn't even fully exist in the dimensions we live in. In simple terms, Webb may have spotted just a shadow of a structure that's not bound to our reality. And if that's true, then this isn't just a cosmic discovery, it's a wake-up call. Things just got even more wild. And now, some of the most abstract theories in physics are stepping into the spotlight. We're talking about string theory and M theory, the kind of models that say reality isn't just 3 dimensions and time, it's a higher dimensional manifold, where our universe is just one brain, a floating surface in a vast, multi-dimensional space, brushing up against others we can't see. That once theoretical idea, it's now being pulled front and center to explain what Webb might have found. Some theorists are dusting off equations that were once seen as too out there to apply to real space, like Calabi-Yau manifolds. These are bizarre, tightly folded geometric shapes believed to represent hidden dimensions in string theory. And now it's being proposed that Webb didn't just detect an object. It may have caught a glimpse of one of those hidden dimensions unfolding right into our reality, even if just temporarily. If that's true, then this anomaly isn't just strange. It's operating by a deeper set of laws, a physics that's buried beneath what we think is fundamental. Here's where it gets even crazier. The pulses coming from this thing, they're not acting like regular waves. They're not spreading out evenly. They blink, disappearing, then reappearing in completely different parts of space, as if they're skipping distance altogether. They're not moving through space, they're folding through it. This isn't breaking the laws of physics, it's following a different set of laws entirely, ones that only activate around the anomaly. In lab simulations, these bizarre behaviors line up with theoretical models of non-local singularities, exotic entities that don't have a fixed origin like a black hole. Instead, they twist and pull on wide patches of space without being centered anywhere. Some physicists describe them as knots in the fabric of the universe, points where space-time loops back on itself or creates shortcuts like mini wormholes. And if this anomaly is one of those, then we're not looking at an object, we're staring into the seams of reality itself. If what Webb found is really what it seems, then we're not just looking at some random object in space. We could be staring at a node, a single point in a vast network of connected realities, not just across galaxies, but across entire universes. And that's where it gets wild, because what if this thing didn't come from our universe at all? Multiple signs are starting to point in that direction. For starters, the energy signature it gives off, it doesn't match anything tied to the Big Bang. The background radiation around it doesn't line up with the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow that fills the rest of the observable universe. Instead, this anomaly has its own unique temperature plateau, sitting outside every known rule of gravitational or thermal balance. Translation: it might be foreign, an exogenic object, something that didn't form here but came from somewhere else, maybe a different region of space, or maybe from a whole other universe. That would mean this isn't just a strange object. It's a cosmic intruder, something that slipped through a crack, dropped in by accident, or maybe even intentionally migrated from a parallel domain. If the multiverse is real, and many top cosmologists believe it is, then this could be a probe, or a leftover fragment from a collision between bubble universes. Some versions of string theory say these pocket universes can bump into each other or even pass data between them. And if that's the case, then Webb might have just captured a piece of inter-universal shrapnel, a chunk of something that doesn't belong here but made it in. This isn't just sci-fi daydreaming either. The quantum foam that filled the early universe had such extreme entropy that it could have allowed for crossovers like this, especially in the deepest corners of reality where things get unpredictable. But here's the twist. Some physicists now think the object might not be an object at all. It might be something even stranger, a phenomenon. Now here's where things go from strange to absolutely mind-bending. Some scientists no longer think this is an object at all, but a phenomenon, something emerging, like a storm or a ripple, right inside the fabric of space itself. In this view, the anomaly might be the visible sign of a deeper transformation, a cosmic phase change that's happening on such an enormous scale, we're only seeing the tiniest piece of it. Just like water boils into steam at a critical point, the vacuum of space might also have phases. And this structure, it could mark the exact spot where one phase is shifting into another. If that's true, then the entire universe is transforming. Not just aging, not just expanding, but actually rewriting its own rules. Gravity, mass, even the direction of time might change. This anomaly could be the first tremor, the crack in reality's surface, where the future is already leaking through. And maybe that's why Webb's instruments aren't picking up traditional emissions, because the anomaly isn't really here in the way we understand space. It's imposing itself from somewhere else. But hold on, there's another theory that flips the whole thing again. Some thinkers are looking at it through complexity theory and say we've got it all wrong. This isn't a crack in physics or a phase shift. It's the result of the universe itself evolving, not just physically, but informationally. They see the cosmos as an enormous information processing system, and this anomaly, it could be the final destination, a kind of omega point. In this theory, the universe is moving toward maximum complexity. And no matter how things start, stars, galaxies, civilizations, everything's path leads to this kind of structure. Not because it was designed, not because someone built it, but because this is where the math takes us. The end state of cosmic computation. If that's what we're looking at, then we're not witnessing something that was sent. We're watching something the universe had to become. We might be watching something that wasn't built, but grown, something inevitable. And maybe, just maybe, we're next, headed toward a future where matter, energy, and information merge into something totally unknown, something we can't even imagine yet. So what do you think this is? Drop your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-bending discoveries just like this. We're just scratching the surface, and the universe, it's only getting stranger.